Hi everybody, welcome to Storytime with Fairfield County Library. My name is Miss Nina and I am so excited for Storytime today. Before we get started, I want to remind you that we are doing hybrid Storytimes, which means on top of our Storytimes online here, we are also doing in-person Storytimes at the library. The in-person version of these Storytimes for the children's age group are at 4 p.m. on Wednesdays. Okay, now that that's out of the way, are you guys ready for Storytime? Awesome. This week, our theme is back to school. That means this week we are going to read books to get you excited for your first day of classes. Okay, our first book is Butterflies on the First Day of School by Annie Silvestro, illustrated by Dream Chen and published by Sterling Children's Books. A month before school, Rosie picked out her very first backpack. It was covered with flowers and she loved it with all her heart. She paraded around proudly. "Don't worry," she told her sister Emily. "Someday you'll be big enough to go to school like me." Rosie practiced raising her hand, writing her letters, and saying her teacher's name. She couldn't wait to start school. But the night before her first day, Rosie couldn't sleep. In the morning, her belly hurt. She didn't touch her chocolate chip pancakes. "Maybe I'd better stay at home," said Rosie. "I don't want Emily to be lonely." "She'll be fine," said her mother, "and so will you." Rosie shuffled the pancakes around on her plate. "Come on, sweetie," said her dad. "Time to go." Rosie slowly pulled on her backpack. "I don't feel well," she said. "You just have butterflies in your belly," said her mother, hugging her tight. "Butterflies?" asked Rosie. That's when the bus pulled up. "I love you," said her mom. "Have fun," called her dad. Rosie stared nervously out the window. Soon, a girl sat down next to her. "I'm Violet," she said. "What's your name?" "Rosie." As she spoke, a butterfly flew out from her mouth. Rosie clapped both hands over her face. "Are you okay?" Rosie nodded. "I have Miss Mancini," said Violet. "Me too," said Rosie. The words tumbled out on 2 silver butterflies. Rosie watched them flutter down the aisle. Violet didn't seem to notice. "Welcome," says Miss Mancini, as the girls entered the classroom. "Hang up your backpacks, then meet me on the rainbow rug." Everyone fidgeted in a circle. "Let's get to know each other," said Miss Mancini. "I'll go first. I have a golden retriever named Barney. I love chocolate cake, and I'm terrified of spiders." Violet went next. "I'm allergic to dogs," she said, "and sometimes to my brother Alex." "This summer I rode a train for the first time," said Jay. "I want to be an astronaut when I grow up," said Allison. The butterflies built up as Rosie waited for her turn. Suddenly, all eyes were on her. Rosie took a deep breath. "I have a baby sister named Emily," she said. 3 butterflies flitted into the air. "I love to sing and play soccer. I wish I had a freezer in my room so I could eat ice cream whenever I want." The class laughed. Rosie's belly felt a little better. After that, Rosie sat at the art table. She painted a flower on a giant easel. She made one for Violet, too. Then they helped Jay build a train out of blocks. From time to time, butterflies rumbled in Rosie's belly. Occasionally, one or two slipped out, but by recess, she could barely feel them anymore. Rosie dashed onto the playground. "You're it!" she called. Everyone raced around, playing tag. But one girl stood alone under the oak tree. She held her hands on her belly. Rosie walked over to her. "Want to play?" she asked. The girl nodded. "I'm Rosie. What's your name?" "Isabella." As she answered, butterfly after butterfly soared into the sky. Isabella looked up, amazed. "Feel better?" asked Rosie. "Much," said Isabella. At the end of the day, Rosie waved goodbye to her friends. She ran off the bus and leapt into her mother's arms. "School is fun," she said. "Violet has a flower name like me, and Jay built a train out of blocks, and Isabella had butterflies too." Her mother smiled. "I can't wait to hear all about it," she said. The words floated out on a shimmering butterfly's wings. All right, that was butterflies on the first day of school. Have you guys ever gotten the butterflies before? What was it about? Why'd you get the butterfly? What made it feel better? Okay, our next book is If I Built a School by Chris Van Dusen, published by Dial Books for Young Readers. Jack on the playground said to Miss Jane, "This school is okay, but it's pitifully plain. The builder who built this, I think, should be banned. It's nothing at all like the school I have planned." If I built a school, the first thing you'd need are lots of cute puppies. They'd flock to your feet. But why stop at puppies? Why not a whole zoo? So I'd add a bunch of big animals too. Right off the lobby, to get to your class, I'd set up a system of tubes made of glass. You'd hop in a pod, press the number, then zoom! In under 10 seconds, you're right at your room. All the classrooms are built onto towers that sprout from the schoolyard like colorful flowers, and like giant petals that welcome the day, the roofs open up in a similar way. Panels fold back and they let in the sun, which frankly makes being there that much more fun. Now come see your classroom. Isn't it grand? That free floating platform is where you would stand. And using a stylus, you write in the air. No blackboard, no whiteboard, no nothing is there. Your words just appear and they magically glow. Don't ask how this works, because I don't really know. But you're not the only one floating around. Check out the desks. They don't touch the ground. These are my hover desks. See how they glide? They even have bumpers in case you collide. In my kind of classes, we wouldn't have tests. I'd liven things up with some hologram guests. Here are some samples of what I've been thinking. You might meet a T-Rex or Abraham Lincoln. The library's next, so let's have a look. You won't find your everyday regular book. These books come alive when removed from the racks. They pop up like pop-ups, but pop up to the max. And if you're not sure what a book is about, you'll find out quite quickly when something pops out. It's off to the gym, and this place is so cool. Around it, please note my perimeter pool. The pool's a deep oval that everyone likes. You race underwater on submarine bikes. Up there is my trampoline basketball court. It's partly a bounce house and partly a sport. There's also a rock wall, and here's something new. I've added some skydiving wind tunnels too. I just heard the lunch bell, so let's go and eat. I'd like you to meet my new robo-chef, Pete. He's 20 feet tall and he spins on a gear. You order your lunch in this microphone here, and Pete can make anything, simple or weird, from PB and jelly to squid lightly seared. It's now time for recess. Let's head out the door. My playground is awesome, so much to explore. Fly on the zip line way up in the sky, or slide down the twisty slide 3 stories high. And after all that, if you're not or you're beat, then you can go tubing. Now that would be sweet. In art, we use sprayers to splash out the paint. In music, we're loud. Our teacher's a saint. And over in science, just one of the features is lab-grown genetically modified creatures. We'll visit new places, travel, explore. 'Cause we'll go on field trips galore. My specialty buses will tote us around. They dive underwater, they blast off the ground. And yes, they have wheels like our regular cars, which neatly retract when we rocket to Mars. My school will amaze you. My school will astound. By far the most fabulous school to be found. Perfectly planned and impeccably clean. On a scale 1 to 10, it's more like 15. And learning is fun in a place that's fun too. If I built a school, that's just what I'd do. That was if I built a school. What would you add if you built a school? All right, everyone, thank you for coming to Storytime. Now, just because we're done reading does not mean we have to be done with Storytime. If you come down to the library this week, you can pick up a Storytime kit, which is a fun-filled activity kit that goes with the books we read today. Each kit comes with a coloring sheet, a craft, and a tasty recipe that you can make with your grown-ups. This week, our craft is this 3D apple book. See, it's 3D, but then if you go through, you can write and maybe put in pictures or drawings on the different pages to get you ready for school. To get a kit, you need to come to the Fairfield County Library and look for some crates in the children's section. Now we have 2 crates, one for Monday story times and one for Wednesdays, so you want to make sure you pick the right kit, or you could end up with something completely different. The kits for this story time are in the group B crate. They're the blue ones. We have new kits every week, so make sure to check back in every time we do a new story time. Okay, everyone, thank you for joining me for story time. Once again, my name is Miss Nina, and I hope to see you in the library this week to pick up a Storytime kit. It's time to say goodbye, but I look forward to seeing you all next time. Bye!